Hey guys, it's Sheri Vegas, and in this video today I'm going to be covering gold leaf, and I'm going to be talking about 5 things I wish I knew before I started working with gold leaf. So if you have been subscribed here for a while, and all the people that have been would know that I love a bit of gold, a little bit of like gold leaf into my artworks. I use it all the time. Whenever I think it will work, I'm always keen for a bit of gold leaf. And I have been working with it for many years now, and over the years I have learnt a few different tips and tricks that I just don't feel like is out there enough, or like they've helped me so much in understanding how to work with it and kind of getting a better technique. So I'm going to give you my 5 things that I've learned that have really helped me with working with this item. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is that there are 2 different techniques that professional gilders use, and one that everyone knows about, but one that next to no one knows about if you're not a professional gilder. So I'm going to tell you about the 2 different ones and why you pick one over the other. So the first one is a really professional based technique because it takes a few more steps, and generally I don't see many crafters or many like artists use it unless you are a professional gilder, and that is water gilding. So water gilding is designed for items that have porous surface. So if the item has a porous surface like wood or any sort of texture, professional gilders will water gild it. So basically what water gilding is, that they are going to be using a different sort of glue and a different sort of mixture, and it works a lot better with porous surfaces, because with the other form where you use just the glue onto your surface, if it's porous, it just gets soaked in. So with water gilding, you apply a gesso, and then on top of that you apply your mold, and then once you're ready to go, you then do a mixture, and this is where the water comes into the water gilding, and it's a few parts of water. You've got a part of alcohol and a little bit of glue in there, and then you place that onto the area that you've already prepped, and then you add your leaf on top of that, and that is what is used for porous surfaces. It's a lot more harder technique, and there are a lot more steps to it. So a lot of people don't like to do that technique if they're not going, if they're not doing professional grade work. But that's water gilding. Now the second option that you can use, and this one is mostly used for slick surfaces. So I like to use this technique when I'm doing a piece with resin, because that's a slick surface, or on metal, anything like that, and that is called oil gilding. The reason why it's called oil gilding is most professionals will use an oil-based glue, and all you do is you have your piece already prepped and primed, and then you'll just add your glue on top and then place your gold leaf, once that glue is nice and tacky, on top of the areas that you've got your glue, and then you just burnish that in, which is basically where you just rub the gold leaf in. And that is one of the most popular techniques to do. But if you want to really level up your gold leafing game and you're going to start doing like frames or antiques, you do need to learn both techniques, because it's going to make a massive difference. But learning that there is more than one way, and that there is 2 options for different surfaces, has helped me a lot with my gold leaf sort of techniques. The next one is the difference between real leaf and imitation leaf, or metal leaf, or I think it's called like Dutch metal. There's a whole bunch of different names for it. So basically your imitation leaf is not made out of either silver or gold. It's mostly made out of like aluminium, zinc, I think copper, brass. They can sometimes do a mixture to get different colors, but it doesn't actually have any silver or gold to it. It is a lot more cheaper. So I think this packet is about like $12 for 25 sheets, and it's a decent size compared to this, which is real gold leaf, and that was about $20, and it's a lot less. You can get this in a variety of colors. You can even get it in like, I've seen like soft, like shiny lavenders, like, which obviously you're not going to get in the real deal. But with the Real Deal, you will get it graded, and so you can get like say 23, 22 karat gold leaf, which is going to be a really rich sort of antique gold color. And then as you go into your lesser carats, you're going to notice that the color gets a lot lighter because there's a lot less gold in it. So if you want like more of a champagne gold, you'd want to go for like a 16 karat gold. Now you'll also notice, which is quite surprising, but your metal leaf is actually thicker than your proper gold leaf, which is like, I wouldn't think that you could get thinner than metal leaf, but your real gold leaf, especially your higher gold quality, so your 22 and your 23, are super thin sheets. They're very delicate, very hard to work with compared to working with metal leaf. And another thing too, all of your real metal leaf must be stored airtight because it can tarnish really easily, especially silver leaf. Silver leaf tarnishes so fast that most places just will not touch silver leaf, even the professionals, because it just tarnishes way too fast and way too easily. This silver leaf that is Imitation, I've had out in the open for months and it's not changed in the slightest because it's aluminium based. But if this was real silver leaf, I would need to keep it stored up properly because otherwise it would have tarnished by now. So those are a few differences of working with your few different types of leaf, working with real leaf and working with imitation leaf. The next thing that I found out about working with gold leaf is getting the right glue will make a massive difference to how your projects turn out. When I first started working with gold leaf, I only knew about the craft store glues that you can get. So it's either going to be called leafing size or gold size, and these are acrylic based, which means they're water based. They're great when you're first starting to work out because they're cheap and they're really easy to get. But they are a little bit harder to work with than compared to a professional grade glue. And the difference between this is oil based, not acrylic based. You do have to be more careful because this is non-toxic, really easy to work with. This, you do need to be careful not to get it on your skin because you might have a reaction to it. It's also a lot harder to get in Australia. I did see that it was more readily available in the US and the UK, but in Australia I only found one place that would sell this, and this was about $50 to get sent to me. So I think it was like $25 for this amount, and then $25 for shipping because it is like one of those dangerous goods. So a little bit more, quite actually a bit more expensive to get this glue, but it makes a massive difference. You'll also find with your craft glues, they've got about a 15 minute to half an hour working time. So if you're trying to do a big project, you're probably going to find you have to add the glue in stages because it just sets really fast. I also find it never properly dries. Like it always has this wetness to it that you don't get when you work with an oil-based glue. Now this oil-based glue, this one that I've got, has a 5-hour setting time. So it gives me, from the moment like it's ready, nice and tacky to work with, I have 5 hours to work with it. So it's great if you're doing bigger projects, like you're doing frames or bigger artworks. You want oil-based glue. You can also get 12-hour setting time and 20-hour setting time for even bigger projects. This is what professionals use. There are a few different brands out there, but you just want to look for an oil-based gold size or leafing glue, whatever the brand calls it. You're also going to get a nicer finish. The golds are going to blend a lot better. Sometimes I find when I do work with this glue, you do see the individual sheets when I add them on. You'll see like a faint outline. I find you don't see that as much with this gold leaf glue. The gold just blends in and you can't really tell where a new sheet starts and an old sheet finishes. So if you are really getting into adding leafing parts to your artworks or making a frame or whatever you're going to be doing, definitely invest in some proper glue for it instead of just your arts and crafts. If you're just doing an arts and crafts project, that's completely fine. The next thing that I wish I knew when I started working with this medium is that you can get it in different versions. So your loose leaf will come in a booklet like this, and it's basically just loose leaves in between different bits of paper, and that's what's holding it in. If I was to give this a shake, they would all fall out. You can also get like transfer leaf, where the leaf is actually attached to the sheet. So it's not got the chance of it just falling out or flying off. And then when you go to use it, you actually apply it with the sheet and rub it in that way. Sometimes with your loose leaves, you can have a little bit of difficulty because they're so light that they are so easily broken when you are transferring them out of the booklet onto your project. So sometimes, depending on the project you're doing, getting some transfer leaf is going to make your life so much more easier. And the last thing that I'm going to cover is silver leaf. So I've briefly touched on this before, but the reason why even professionals don't use actual silver leaf is that silver leaf will tarnish really easily and really fast, and it's honestly not worth it. So even professionals, when they do a silver piece, they will either go for a really light gold, so like, 16 or less, in the carats, because as the gold is less, it gets lighter, and it does sometimes look like it could be silver. So like a 13 karat gold does have a really silver look to it. Or they will use your imitation silver leaf, just because those two do not have the ability to tarnish the same way that silver leaf does. And even when you do seal silver leaf, it still will tarnish over time. So my recommendation is just forget about real silver leaf and just either go for a really light carat gold or go for your imitation leaf. So I hope that was helpful if you are getting into gold leaf. I also do have a beginner's guide on how to apply leafing foil, which I did do a few years ago, so I would recommend watching that, plus putting all the information that you've learned from here today together, and you should have a really good understanding on how to start working with your imitation leaf or your real gold leaf. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment box below, or any other tips that you find really helpful when working with this medium. If you are new to my channel, please do subscribe, as I post new videos every single week. And if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. It really helps me out. Thank you guys.